Heron Michelle here with the Sojourner Whole Earth Provisions, back for the fourth installment of my Lunar Magic candles that are paired according to astrological sign. There are 6 pairings because there are 12 zodiac signs that are paired across the wheel of the year. They are always paired by modality, polarity, and element. So the modality for this one is mutable. We're working with Gemini and Sagittarius, both mutable. Gemini is the mutable part of the spring, and Sagittarius is the mutable part of the autumn. They're also paired by polarity in that are they projective or receptive? Well, the projective elements are air and fire, and so these are air of Gemini and fire of Sagittarius. They're also paired by their focus on learning, knowledge, wisdom, exploration, innovation. Only the parts of the self that are being balanced through the polarity across the wheel of the year is that Gemini is very interested in self-knowledge, self-expression, personal experiences, and sharing that wisdom that they've gained in a personal way, one-to-one, whereas Sagittarius is broader concepts, larger humanities wisdom, philosophy, higher academics, travel, innovation, exploration out beyond. It's less about the relationship to other people as it is to the wholeness of the cosmos and humanity itself. The reason why we work with lunar magic pairings at all is to do the magic of self-exploration, self-balancing between the two poles, so that we also grow wiser, both self-knowledge wise and knowledge of our place within the greater humanity. We're reconciling a paradox. There's a paradox between knowledge and wisdom, and part of our magic for growth and empowerment is to balance that within ourselves as well. The auspicious timing for this magic, why is today a good day to do anything? Well, Sagittarius is where the moon is right now. We're waxing in Sagittarius. This is a fire sign, but Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is often associated actually with air. So a lot of my formulary blends that have Jupiter components are actually in my air blend, but that's okay because we're working both fire and air. Thing that makes this auspicious about today, it's Thursday. That's Jupiter's day. So there we go, check number 1. Also, the moon being in Sagittarius, a fire sign, check number 2. 3, the sun is still in Virgo, but Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So we kind of got that magic going on right now too. Here we are on this day of Jupiter, balancing Sagittarius and Gemini, air to fire, mutable energies that close, that integrate, that fully weave into the nature of our being, that which we have learned through the season, closes it down, transmutes it into the next season. It's about a dissolving of that line, that barrier, as we cross through the barrier into the next thing. Things we're working on with this magic. Just to go over the art, my original art in this image. For Gemini, this is how it works. When we're in the time of year, in the spring, when Gemini is the sign through which the sun is crossing, we turn the candle this way on our altars. And this information shows that when the sun is in Gemini, there will be a full moon in opposition, which is the other side of the earth, and therefore the moon, when it's full, will be in the opposite sign across the zodiac. That is the strong sun moon in Sagittarius. So we get an injection of that fiery, exploring wisdom, academic achievement kind of fiery energy injected into our self-knowledge sign here. So we have the strong sun, full moon when we're in Gemini. But then when the moon is dark, it is conjunct in the same sign as the sun. And so we'll also have a dark moon Gemini where we fully integrate the lessons of Gemini at that time. In this image, I've got the traditional twins. Also, a reprisal of the Hermes caduceus. Also, the Mercury symbol, showing that Gemini is ruled by Mercury. To me, I always think about the Wonder Twins. I don't know if anybody saw that cartoon back in the 80s, but I see them like the Wonder Twins. It's kind of like superheroes there. And the alchemical symbol for air. I also show here that at the time of year where it's mutable spring, we're really getting into that abundant time as we're about to cross over into summer, when the sun is high in the sky. Usually we celebrate the strong sun moon sometime near the summer solstice, and that, the sun is high in the sky. We see that flowers are blooming. It's a really nice outdoorsy, bright, sunny time. Things are in full flower at this point, or full leaf at this point. Meanwhile, flip side of the year. So this is the growing light side of the year that we can celebrate. Flip side, it'll be the dark side of the year. So we turn the candle this way on our altar, and now we can use the candle's second lunation, 2 for the price of 1. So when the sun is crossing through Sagittarius, that's what this shows, the long night's full moon will be in opposition, opposite side of the earth, in Gemini. We celebrate the long night's moon. We are getting an injection of airy thought and thinking into this Sagittarius sign. So while so much of the solar energy at that time will be really integrating the year, with the mutable autumn is when we begin to really integrate what we've learned throughout the wheel of the year, but also throughout the harvests of that season. Integrate in ourselves, what do we know? We get this full moon, and now we get a touch of that personal knowledge, self-knowledge. Well, what did I learn about myself while I did all of these other things? How does myself integrate with the larger cosmic goings-on at this time? So, long nights, when the nights are getting very long, is when we celebrate that Gemini opposition. We'll also have a dark moon during that time period, and it will be conjunct the sun, so also in Sagittarius, where we really integrate those Sagittarian mysteries at that time. In this side of the panel, I've got the Archer, which is always seen as a centaur, for Sagittarius, pulling that bow, really directing that bow. That fire energy really gets the job done, really focuses and tunes in, and hopefully that Archer is hitting his target. Alchemical sign of fire. Similarly, I was showing in the upper panel the relationship between the elements. We have, at this time, the setting sun. This is when we're really putting the autumn to bed. Autumn is associated with dusk and the setting of the sun. Same trees, only now they're without leaf. Their leaves have fallen, little stacks of leaves, little fires burning there. So we have this sort of dusky atmosphere that shows that the autumn and the fires, big bonfires happening there. So we're basically putting the season to bed for the year in this sign. I've already applied it to my candle. If you'd like to see how I did that, just go back and check out some of my earlier videos. We've already got available at the Sojourner for purchase, all made and charged according to auspicious timing. We already have available the Pisces Virgo candles, the Libra Aries candles, and the Scorpio Taurus candle pairings. Those are all available already. And those videos each show a little something different while also demonstrating the same techniques. So I've already got it on my candle, ready to go. I made them into stickers. They're waterproof, oil-proof, so that's convenient too. I've already drilled 3 holes into all of the candles. I have 10 that I'll be making available for the public to purchase through the sojo.com or pick up at the Sojourner. This one will be from me. And so I'm going to show how I load these, what I load them with, and how I charge them up with a charm of making. So what's going into this candle? Once more, I'm using the formulary that I've made based on the recipes that are included in my book, Elemental Witchcraft, A Guide to Living a Magical Life Through the Elements. Among those is my air incense. My incense is blended especially for the powers of Mercury and Jupiter, and that's actually appropriate for both signs here. And air to work with sylph and peralta. I've got birch bark and benzoin resin, accents of star anise, lavender flower, and lemongrass, among other things. I always make a batch, use it down. When there's a little bit left, I'll add more. Sometimes add new things, sometimes different things, but it just blends all together. All made during auspicious times for the elements, and that charge is now soaked into the blend, ready to be transferred to the candle. Also for air, I'm going to include citrine again. Citrine is a wonderful stone for Mercury, so that'll help with Gemini. And it's just a nice yellow and reminds me of the airy sign. Great for communication. We've also got my fire incense blend. Again, this was made primarily with Mars in mind, a fiery thing, also the sun. And even though Sagittarius is very fiery, being ruled by Jupiter, I might have added some Jupiter things, but they're already there in my air blend. So this is just another illustration of how we really are working with both sides of the wheel, both sets of energies and influences when we work both of these lunations. And so I can load the same candle with the same things and it'll be appropriate both sides of the year. In my fire incense, I've got oak wood, cinnamon, and dragon's blood resin. I've got accents of ginger, tangerine peel, clove, and bay leaves, among other fiery things. For my Sagittarius sign, I'm going to use sodalite. Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, is often associated with the colors blue and purple. So a lot of blue and purple stones are what work best with Sagittarius. I'm adding in some good sodalite energy for our candle here. Also helps with that communication, academic achievement, etc. I've also got my full moon oil that I've made some time ago, ready for the lunar part of this, as well as rainbow moonstone I'll be adding. Same goes for the anointing oils of air and fire that I blended previously, again with similar associations, so we're going to cover all our bases there. And I'm using the Watkins all natural, no artificial anything, vegetable-based dyes in yellow and red. They don't change the color of the candle, but they do swirl around in the wax and make a pretty display as you meditate with the burning candle. All right, so let's do it. Mostly, all I have to do is load my ingredients for each of these magical elements into the appropriate hole. I'm going to do the loading of all of these candles at once, just speed through that part, let you see me do all of them at one time, and then we'll come back and do the charm thing. And now that they're loaded, all of the powers and energies of my various blends that were already magically made have already transferred to the candle. However, I like to use a charm of making to particularly pray over the candles, to invite in the entities that are being called with this magic, and with rhyming couplets, because I'm a poet at heart. That's my Sun in Pisces for you right there. I like to create rhyming couplets with a nice rhythm and beat so that as I say them, best that they be spake in rhyme, I get the build of the tempo and the words and the rhymes, and it helps to engage me in all ways. So my body, I'm touching it and I'm feeling it and I'm smelling it. My seeing it, it's visually beautiful. So my mind, I'm using my mind and I'm thinking about things and I'm creating imagery. I'm using my voice, I'm hearing it. I'm engaging my emotional body through my imagery and my charge, and I'm putting on my emotional body into it. The will, I've got to express my will for these things. That's another beautiful thing about the charm of making, is that I'm saying exactly what it is my will is trying to achieve. And then of course, spirit, all five senses. I'm saying things, so I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, I'm smelling things. I'm not really tasting anything, but smell, pretty engaging. And then I'm getting my hands in it and I'm feeling it. So I like to touch all the candles. I remember myself as the tree the axis mundi. I connect myself through my branches to the air of the atmosphere and the fire of the sun, the cosmos, all the stars. I breathe that down into my body. I connect to the earth. I always want to connect to the earth, ground in nature itself, and I remember my roots, the water table and the bedrock. From both directions, I pull in the goddess. I pull up the goddess of the earth and the underworld. I pull down the god from the heavens and the sun and the stars and the skies. Pull that down here into this middle world with me, and I allow my body to be that middle world conduit. And just like the image of the tree that's behind me on my tapestry, I become this blending, perfect balance, the pentacle itself. And as I breathe, I am empowering myself through the power of all 5 elements in the world around me. I invite to be present in this working Jupiter and Mercury. Move through this working, embed in these candles so that when lit, the intentions of balancing Sagittarius and Gemini are wrought in the world. Sun in Gemini, Mercury proclaims, mutable close to spring's domain, dark Gemini ebb, full strong Sun Sagittarius, self-knowledge expressed, achievement victorious. Sun in Sagittarius, Jupiter sways, mutable wane of autumn's blaze, dark moon in Sagittarius, full long nights in Gemini. By exploring the mind, wisdom is clarified. Sun in Gemini, Mercury proclaims, mutable close to spring's domain, dark Gemini ebb, full strong Sun Sagittarius, self-knowledge expressed, achievement victorious. Sun in Sagittarius, Jupiter sways, mutable wane of autumn's blaze, dark moon Sagittarius, full long nights in Gemini. By exploring the mind, wisdom is clarified. Sun in Gemini, Mercury proclaims, mutable close to spring's domain, dark Gemini ebb, full strong Sun Sagittarius, self-knowledge expressed, achievement victorious. Sun in Sagittarius, Jupiter sways, mutable wane of autumn's blaze, dark moon in Sagittarius, full long nights in Gemini. By exploring the mind, wisdom is clarified. So mote it be. Remember that upon first burning, and every burning really, of any candle that's in a glass jar, you want to make sure to burn it so that it is liquid across the entire surface all the way to the glass. This will prevent tunneling. And also remember that after the first burning, if this candle is complete, because paraffin is not the best choice for a candle, but it is the easiest and most economical way to get these sanctuary candles. But after they're complete the first time, as long as all those little herb and stone bits remain in the bottom, you could just add a beeswax or other natural material insert back to the candle, and the charge is transmitted back to the new candle. Or you can choose to load it yourself. Now that you have the jar, you always have the jar, and you're ready for all your lunations in Sagittarius and Gemini moving forward. Enjoy. Blessed be.